Listen to the Coaches Lounge right now, because we're going to bring this king on. And as I always say, I have to bring on these wonderful, wonderful coaches the right way. So here we go.
Oh my God, Barbara, that was beautiful. Thank you. You are an angel.
David, I don't know. I mean, you're being really nice right now, but I was like, I said, I couldn't even believe I have this celebrity on my show. Thank you so much. I mean, this is an honor.
Well, I'll tell you, you mentioned something earlier. When you are in alignment with people like Jenny McCarthy and Oprah, as you mentioned, Barbara, you're probably further ahead than you could ever imagine. Those statements that, I'm reaching, I'm going, I'm there, type of a thing is absolutely what we all need to be doing as we do the work to get there. But I just love the way you reflected upon yourself saying, I'm not Oprah yet, but I'm going there. Jenny McCarthy is probably one of the most incredible individuals I've ever met in my life, Barbara. And, people think of her as a Playboy a model, and they think of her as, the host of The Masked Singer now, which she's gained huge acclaim for. But what they don't understand is, and I've been in this business for 43 years as a counselor, master life coach, radio host, TV host, all that kind of stuff, right? Jenny McCarthy, by far, is one of the top 2 individuals I've ever been interviewed by. She is a pro. She's an amazing businesswoman. She's funnier than heck. She's absolutely gorgeous, but her gorgeousness does not even touch her heart, soul, passion to help people. And I will give Jenny all the credit in the world. Our first #1 best-selling book, ironically enough, called Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but this book will. She actually was on the radio with me. I was on her show as a guest, and she said, David, I've always been a huge fan of The Secret and the Law of Attraction. And in your book, you're saying that it takes a heck of a lot more than those 2 things. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to sell me. And at the end of 3 minutes, if you sell me, I will tell my 3 million people listening that you are the rock star of positive thinking. And at the end of 3 minutes, if I still am going to hold on to my affirmations are going to bring me everything I want in the world and all that kind of stuff, then I will tell you, thanks for coming on, but I'm going to stay with my own stuff. After 3 minutes, you can imagine what happened. She stopped the race. She goes, okay, enough. And she turned to the mic, Barbara, and she said, ladies and gentlemen, I have been totally wrong.
Wow.
In everything I've been telling you about how to create success. Positive thinking, moving forward. And Barbara, it was so profound because of her position in society, right? To be so humble and so vulnerable and to raise her hand and say, guys, I've been teaching you the wrong stuff. And, I had to do that in 1996, Barbara. I had for 18 years, I had taught the law of attraction. And this is before The Secret came out. The law of attraction has been out since about the 1600s, by the way. And there's part of the law of attraction that's true. But the way we teach it in our country, it's a bunch of crap. Whatever you put out into the universe must return in kind, right? So you say I'm a millionaire, you become one. Come on now. Barbara, you would not have a position in this world. I would not have a position in this world if that worked. People wouldn't need inspiration, motivation. They wouldn't need experts and teachers and leaders and healers because all they'd have to do is throw this out to this so-called universe and they'd be healed, or they'd have 6 houses in Tahiti or whatever the heck these people tell you can get, right? So, Jenny got real. She got down. She stripped her small ego. She said, I was wrong. Are you kidding me? A celebrity and 3 million listeners saying I'm wrong. How many people do that, Barbara, right?
Wow. That is, yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing, David. And just because she's like, oh boy, okay, here we go. I got to admit this.
Exactly.
And you know what I was just going to say, David, before you move on with your story, I'm glad that she did, because everybody's going down this, like you said, this wrong road. And you just was like, no, this needs to get fixed. And I'm going to sell her in the 3 minutes because this needs to get put out there to all the people that she know, all the millions of people. Yeah. So for all that, just, like you said, that was like the turning point for everybody that you came on, you sold her on that. You told this is how it's supposed to be. She's like, oh my God, I'm wrong. Let's just get this out here. So right. Yes, it all came to fruition. So that's wonderful.
And Barbara, in my experience for those 18 years, I woke up every day saying I'm a millionaire. I had signs all over my house, that I own homes in Tahiti and Bali and blah, blah, blah. And in 18 years, it never came true. Not one of those things came true by putting these posters on the wall, by spending all this time writing affirmations and speaking affirmation. Now, I will say this, 20% of our massive success in life will come from having a powerful, optimistic attitude. Absolutely. But listen to the percentage, 20%. 80% will come from you doing the work you'd rather not do today. Let me slow that down. 20% of your success, big success. I'm not talking about waking up in the morning. I'm talking about actually doing something big, right? 20% will come from your attitude. Your belief in yourself, your determination, your perseverance against all odds, knocking down mountains that we all have to face. 20% of your success will come from your thought process. And what we ask people to do in all of our counseling and coaching programs is to spend the first hour of every day electronic free. The first hour of every day, no news, no social media, no texting, no email, no nothing. The first hour, actually, I believe in holding freaking books, real paper. I believe in getting up in the morning and journaling. I believe in getting up and meditating, praying, or whatever's in your wheelbox, right? Like I really believe that first hour, electronic free, sets the tone for the day. And if you do it correctly, you don't have to worry about saying affirmations throughout the day. You don't have to worry about, hoping that something's going to come through. You've already done the work in your mind and with the spiritual sense. Now, the next 80%, if you do what you'd rather not do, that's what the superstars, that's how they get successful. If you do what you'd rather not do. And let me go back to Jenny McCarthy. I was on her show like 5 times after that first one. And we got to talking about success and mindset and all this stuff. And I said to her, after your modeling days, what was your business like? How did you do? And she said, David, I'm going to be honest with you. I got lazy. I was getting all of this stuff thrown to me, and I'm, being very successful. And then I'm moving into comedy and I'm doing different things. But then I just sort of took my foot off the gas, and people would call me. And she was in Chicago at the time living. And she said, people would call me from LA and say, hey, we want you a part of a project. And I go, I don't feel like traveling this week. And then a couple weeks later, someone would have called from Miami and say, hey, Jenny, we want you to come down here and do Miami. And she go, that's just a pain traveling. And as she stopped doing the work, her career started to dip.
Wow.
And then she said, David, then I asked her, what recreated Jenny McCarthy? Like, what did you do? And she said, I started doing everything I didn't want to do. I realized that I needed to say yes, even if it was uncomfortable. And David, that shattered everying. And then all of a sudden I went from this Playboy model to where's Jenny McCarthy to where's Jenny McCarthy not? Yeah. It was from doing the work that she didn't want to do, Barbara. And it's a great lesson for all of us.
Yeah, definitely, David. Now, I want to just, because I know you've been doing this for a long time. I mean, you're just the expert of experts here. But I always know that there's a story. There's always a story. That I was saying with Ann and Malone, and when I was, talking to them. So your story, because I know you just didn't wake up saying, okay, I'm this positive and I'm going to, show the world and all that. So where did it start from? Where did you just say, I need to do this? This was a must for you.
Well, it started really young. We are all given gifts, and a lot of us are embarrassed to say what our gifts are, and other people don't even know what the heck their gifts are. But, as a little kid, I was always a leader. I mean, this was my role in life in sports. I played basketball Division I at Syracuse University for 2 years, and I was the leader on the court. I ran the team in high school, ran the team in elementary school, ran the team. So, it was a natural sort of lead in for me to become either a teacher, which I thought I was going to go to college for being a teacher. But after spending an internship with junior high kids, I ran. I ran out of that profession. I go, oh, no. I'll be in jail. I will not put up with this crap, So, and
so glad you ran, David. So glad you ran.
I am too, Barbara. It was the best move I made, But being that leader, I've always wanted to be ahead, and I've always wanted to tell people, hey, listen, you can do this. Because when I played basketball at Syracuse, I was a walk-on. I did not get a scholarship. The odds of making a Division I school as a walk-on are infinitesimally small. Even 43 years ago when I played basketball there, it's very hard without a scholarship to get a position on a major basketball team. And yet, I use that, my determination, my willingness to do whatever it took. And the coaches came up to me, after the tryouts and said, against all odds, Essel, against all odds, you're on this team. And it was true. I was probably one of the shortest guys at 5'11" on the team. But, I didn't let any of that disturb me, Barbara. I had a goal. I had a dream. I accomplished it. Now, after 2 years, I just simply wasn't good enough. I just couldn't keep up with the talent underneath me. So my junior year, the coach came to me. His name was Roy Danforth. The current coach, Jim Boeheim, who's been there for 42 years, was an assistant. But Roy Danforth came to me and said, Essel, we've got a position for you on, for the next 2 years. You can play as a junior, you can play as a senior. And I was ecstatic, Barbara. And then he really put the nail down. He said, but the odds of you getting in a game are extremely rare. I need you in practice to push the stars, but you're probably not going to play. I'm giving you 24 hours to make a decision. If you want to have that, you've got it. And I went and talked to my roommate, Jake. I'll never forget it, even though it was a long time ago. We spent all night long talking. And I went in the next day and said, Coach, I can't do it. And the reason why, Barbara, was because, in any level of basketball, but Division I, you are devoting your life to the court, to the sport. And then you've got school on top of that. And, you're practicing 7 days a week during the season and off season. I mean, it's just 365 days. And I made a decision that I couldn't put that much effort into this sport anymore if I wasn't going to even be able to get on the court. Now, some people may say that I backed away from an opportunity, and they would be correct in some ways, right? But I followed my heart. The leadership part of me never left. So I got a master's degree in sports psychology and worked with athletes and health and fitness people from 1979 to 1989. And then in 1990, I blew it out in many different ways. Probably the most challenging thing I faced in 1990 was a failed suicide attempt. I had planned on taking my life. I had reached some very deep lows. I had undiagnosed generalized anxiety disorder, undiagnosed clinical depression, undiagnosed ADD, undiagnosed ADHD. I was a mess. Now, I had covered it up for many years with alcohol and workaholism. And when you use substances to cover up your fears, angers, insecurities, or whatever, you can do it for a while, but then you're going to snap. I used workaholism. You know, I was putting in 70, 80, 90 hours a week easy in the first 11 years of my career. And then, but here's the blessing. You know, the failed suicide attempt made me face me, made me look in the mirror, you know, that I am not invincible, that I needed help. And I reached out and I got amazing help. And 12 months later, I was back on my feet. Now, it was not easy at all, but that then pushed me into the world of general counseling. And since then, I have been a massive mental health advocate. I mean, you know, off the charts mental health advocate. And in our work, you know, we have a brand new certification, the mental health and master life coach certification, because we want to create, Barbara, a small army of certified mental health coaches. We've been certifying coaches since 1996, all over the world. Thousands upon thousands of people have gone through our certification. But we created the mental health and master life coach certification for the times we're in right now. And if I can share some statistics to tell you how important this is for coaches, I don't care if you've been certified by other people. If you really want to make a difference, get with our mental health certification for this reason. The American Psychological Association came out about 4 months ago with these statistics, which are absolutely mind-blowing. 79% of Americans reported they have no idea on how to deal with the stress, the addiction, the frustration, the financial challenges, the job loss, the home loss. They have 79% of Americans have no emotional coping skills for the pandemic. Loss of loved ones, grief. You know, I lost my mom and dad in the last 12 months. The most difficult several years of my life. They were in hospice for a number of years, and then they both finally passed away a year apart from each other in the last year. And you know, and one of the things that I went to, you know, and of course I've been sober for a very long time. No challenge there whatsoever. But what I had to do was rework my grief program and use it on myself. And that's what we teach in this new certification. You know, people, Barbara, are grieving over the loss of jobs, pets, relationships, homes. You know, I mean, so we created this certification because we really know that the mental health arena is so underserved. You know, I've been on television constantly for the massacre in Texas, at the elementary school, Robb Elementary, for the massacre at Top Supermarket, the racial massacre in Buffalo, New York. You know, and I am screaming for sensible gun laws. I've joined NBA coach Steve Kerr. We were on a television show, separate places, but we were together on this show, screaming for sensible gun control and screaming for more mental health help, which again, is one of the reasons we created the certification. We're even keeping the certification at half off right now because I know a lot of people want to do this, but the money isn't there. So we're going to help people in every way we can, Barbara, just like I have my whole life. But, you know, again, this is going back to something that God gave me. You know, God gave me the leadership abilities. You know, of course, when you're given that gift, you can always improve upon them, which I have. But that's something that was just a gift. You know, I write this is just so crazy to tell you the connection here. But, you know, my last 5 books I've written in 48 hours.
Wow. See, that is amazing. But David, I got to put a pin for that because I need to go back to what you said, how important it is. I keep telling people mental illness is real. It is real. And a lot of times people, well, I've been noticing, I don't know where they're not thinking, that they think they're not taking it serious like they really should. That's why I'm so glad and proud that you are putting that certification out there to people we need more people like that to get that certification so we can get people help. But you were talking about losses like job losses, people losses. When the pandemic first of all, sorry for your mom and dad, you know, for that. But I know last year I lost 13 family members in 3 months. In 3 months' time, David, I lost 13 family members. Some people are still looking at me saying, how are you still doing what you do? Right. And, you know, and then I thought about what you said about the workaholism, where that's been my take, Yeah, I used that a lot. And I had to stop myself. I just told myself, wait a minute, Barbara, you're working all this hours. You're doing all this for everybody else. You're doing on these shows and everything else. You need to slow it down. Else something's going to happen to you. And that's why I'm just feeling what you're saying. You are so true and right about that. It is like we just got to yell and scream it out loud about the mental wellness. Yeah.
Yeah. And, through the workaholism that you've fallen prey to and the workaholism I've fallen prey to, even if we're doing work to help the world, we still are lacking self-care if we're workaholics. We really are. Going back to the American Psychological Association study, I mentioned 79% of Americans have no clue how to handle the stress going on, which we cover in the certification. 40%. Now, I think this is way underreported. In our private practice, it's 70 to 75%. But according to their survey, 40% are struggling with anxiety and or depression at very deep levels right now. Barbara, we see that as huge. We see it more like 70%. And we can prove it with the number of people that are coming in with food addiction, sex addiction, alcohol addiction, pot addiction, prescription drug addiction. Over the last couple of years, we've seen, and I work in the world of addiction recovery, we've seen a massive increase in all these areas of addiction. And then the last thing that they said, I'm only going to mention 3 of the bullet points, but the third bullet point was, and this is again mind-blowing, 80% of couples in the United States of America said their relationship has never been worse than it is right now. And again, in the course, we do relationship certification. So we really have, again, and I'm not bragging, and please, no one take this as a brag, but as a leader, we have to be looking at but we have to be looking at saying, how can I alter the future with what I know right now about the present? And that's when we created the certification. The other thing we created about the pandemic, and this is absolutely free, is a program called Americans Heal and the World. Now, it's a free program. They can go to talkdavid.com and sign up. Instantly, they're going to get our #1 best-selling book on positive thinking, the one that changed Jenny McCarthy's mind. And then every week, Barbara, they're going to get an email. And in the email will be interviews like this one. This one's going to be part of Helping Americans Heal when we get it from you. There'll be interviews. There'll be articles. There's a video on sleep. There's a video on financial freedom. There's a video on meditation. There's a free subscription to an addiction recovery online magazine that is the best in the world. So Helping Americans Heal, something else that we created for absolutely free. We're investing millions of dollars into these programs, Barbara, because we know that the government cannot do this. The government is not equipped in the world of mental health, and they have admitted they're not equipped. And so we believe that it's everyday citizens like myself that need to be thinking of programs, some free, like Helping Americans Heal. So there's no objection. You can't say, well, I can't afford this or I don't have time for it. Yes, you can afford it because it's free. And yes, you have time because you get one email a week chock full of information to help us go to that next level. And then, of course, the mental health and master life coach certification. But this is just what we do. And if you're a leader right now, which I know you are, if you're watching Barbara's show, what I want you to do is look at your present moment, look around at your clients, look for patterns. We found the pattern of mental health just like that 3 years ago. And so, look, you may find a pattern that goes into your wheelhouse with weight loss, or you may find a pattern that goes into your coaching program with financial advice during the pandemic. Whatever your expertise is, be a leader. Come out with a program that's fresh. Don't keep reusing old crap. Too much has changed in this world for you to be using a program you created pre-pandemic. We've got to be creating programs right now to prepare ourselves for the post-pandemic if it ever leaves. And if it doesn't leave, you need to be teaching your clients how to deal at the highest level with the pandemic. Don't shy away from mental health. Don't shy away from using the term pandemic health or pandemic finances or pandemic relationships. Get fresh. Take a weekend. Jot your notes down. Come up with a new program. Come on, we've got to do this as a country. Coaches, counselors, therapists have to all be working together, Barbara.
Yes, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, David. The soapbox, I can hear it. It's like your passion. I'm loving it. This is what I'm talking about. That's why I love this show so much that I created, to bring on people like you to wake up. Basically, wake up. I didn't want to curse, but wake up. But David, I want to, because I know with time, but I want to give you 30 seconds. I want you to leave whatever you want to leave, and then I'll bring back up so they basically know where to contact you, get the certification, whatever that, that they need from you. So I'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'm so glad that you're taking the time for your self-care, for you to listen to Barbara and all of her wonderful guests, and to take notes. One of the things I always tell clients is that take notes when you're watching a Zoom or you're watching an interview like this. Join me. Be one of the leaders. Become certified with our mental health and master life coach certification. As I mentioned, I've been certifying coaches since 1996. Now we've leveled up. We recreated this entire mental health and master life coach certification for these times. You will walk away so prepared. You will walk away so ready. And as most of you know, coaches are earning right now between $50 and $250 per hour. And that's going to go up because the need for certified coaches is off the charts. Then also our free program, Helping Americans Heal. Join it, share it. We're giving away 500,000 memberships to this online program, and you can be right there. Get the information, make the life changes, share it with your clients, your family, whatever you need to do, but act. All you have to do is go to talkdavid.com. Everything you need is there.
Thank you so much, David. Get into the positive thinking movement. Mental health, yes. I had to put that out there.
I love it.
I love talking to you. I love that you've been on the show, and I love having a celebrity in the house. I'm just going to be frank.
Thank you, Barbara.
So thank you so much. And, I welcome you anytime if you want to shout to the rooftops, whatever else you're going to be doing moving forward, because I know that you just like that locomotive.
Yes.
Please, reach out to me. I'll reach out to you, and then we'll make it happen. Because like I said, I like to help give the people visibility so they know what needs to be done. And you are that particular person.
And Barbara, as soon as this is ready, we'll send it out to our complete email list so they get a chance to see you and I working together and how we are both in soul alignment on these topics. So listen, you keep going forward, baby. You're rocking this world, and I want to see you again as well.
Yes. Thank you, Debbie. Hello. We are back. Wonderful conversation I had with David Essel. I mean, it hit home as what's going on right now. Mental health is real. Okay. I know this show is the coach. Before, if you just chimed in, this is the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley. And I bring on the wonderful, awesome coaches, educators, and consultants that need that spotlight on them because they are helping you get the spotlight on you. They are help coaching you. They're giving you tips. They're with you all the way. They're like, you can do this. You can do this. They're rooting for you. They're with you all the time. They're calling you. They're texting you. They're telling you what you need, not that you need to do, but giving you suggestions. I'm going to put it like that. Somebody told me a while ago, they said, Barbara, you can't tell somebody what they got to do. You got to just suggest. That's a better way of doing it. And then it's not like you're telling them, okay, you got to do this, you got to do this. But, coaches, we all have coaches, and hopefully you do. I know I have one or two coaches in business lane, health lane, spiritual lane. I mean, you need that for yourself to make sure that you keep moving. And that's why I brought this show to the forefront, because I wanted to make sure that these coaches, first of all, getting that spotlight that they deserve. And also you get to learn and see who they are. And then maybe, just maybe, you might reach out and say, I think I need to talk to you. You're a coach that I'm really needing to see. So with that, just talking to David and talking about the mental health pandemic, because it is a pandemic. I know we talked about there's other pandemic that we just went through. It's still kind of going through, but yeah, there's a mental health pandemic going on, and we really need to be serious about it. Do the check-ins. I really plead to that. Do the check-ins with friends, family, people that you might have met on the way, because you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Okay. So with that said, we're going to get right into our next coach. And I am like really pumped up for this lady. Emi. Oh my God. This lady. Okay. Let me before I get excited, I don't read her bio the right way, and I'll be very upset at myself if I don't do this. She's an investor. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's a coach, the host of her awesome, wonderful Tribe of Leaders podcast. Her mission, and that's why, see, when you find people in sync with you, you do get excited. Her mission is to empower women, entrepreneurs, to reach beyond 7 figures by helping them build more profitable businesses that creates the change they want to see in the world. She's creating world changers. She's one herself, and she's like, okay, I want you to take what I do, and I want you to be a world changer too. And that's what she's doing with the women in this world. I love it, love it, love it. I work with women, and when I find other wonderful world changers like Emi, I like, yes, this is like, yes, I love it, love it, love it, because we need more of that. We need more of coaches helping those women, pushing them forward and say, you could do this. You could make 7 digits. Why not? Why are you shutting the door? Why are you putting a ceiling on you? Okay, I need to stop, because I feel myself getting on that soapbox, and we won't bring on the queen. So I bring all the ladies that come on my show. I call them queen because they are royalty. But I just don't throw them on the screen like this. I have to make sure I do them properly. So after this small video, we will bring on Mrs. Queen, Miss Emi. Yes.
Wow. Thank you. You went deep into the archives of my social for that.
It's funny. You're like the 5th person that says that to me. They're like, okay, Barbara, did you just kind of like, well, first of all, Lady Queens, first, welcome to the Coaches Lounge. I am so happy that you're here and that you said yes. But you just have so many wonderful pictures. I was like, I don't know what to choose from. So I just threw a lot up there. I was like, because you're just amazing.
Thank you for having me. And now everybody knows that my hair color changes quite a bit. So
you gotta do something a little different all the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm in the process of and I don't like to use the word trying, but this is definitely trying to grow it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going through that phase.
Like no matter what, halfway through the day, it's
well, you look beautiful. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
And I'm like I said, I'm glad that you're on your show on this show. Now, like I said before, I created this show, Emi. It's Emi. I want to make sure I'm saying your name. Emi. Because to spotlight you and other coaches. I never seen too many shows that, authors, speakers, creativity people, but I never really seen a show that's dedicated to really focusing on coaches and what they do and giving those lessons that they give to their clients. And then putting that call of action saying, you know what, if you need me, I'm here for you. So before we go into your brilliance of what you do for women, especially when it's coming to empower them, and you do that so well. I mean, I was watching some of your podcasts just the other day and I was like, wow, this is good. This is so good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I love what you're doing with your podcast. But I always like to ask, what, like pulling that little behind the curtain, saying, okay, what started Emi to doing all this? Why she want to even do this? So can you just give us a little background before we get into some lessons that you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. One, I'm not great at following directions. So working for somebody else is really not in my best interest or anybody else's. And I mean, since I think I was in college, like my purpose has always been to help other people. And what that's looked like has shifted over the years. Mm-hmm. I started this business as a health coach, actually. Okay. And I'm still very passionate about that. But what I learned quickly was that my kind of nonlinear background in business, doing a lot of different things. And I mean, like catering to convention planning, to project management, to financial services and everything in between, mm-hmm. was really my better way to serve the women that I was working with. So it really had to take like a hard look at what I was doing, but made the shift 5 or 6 years ago and have been business coaching since. And it's been so amazing because I get to be with these women and really expand their dream and help them then go reach it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why, again, it's so important because a lot of times, we can put out there, oh, I want to, make this money, or I want to be this particular influencer, what have you. And then you're like in your mind, okay, now what road do I go? How do I start?
Well, I talked to a new coach yesterday, and she wants to start a group program, but she doesn't have the marketing plan yet. So I helped her with that. But I was like, you're not going to just hang the shingle out, which is what I thought initially when I was coaching, even though I had all this other business experience, right? You're not just going to put your website up and post some social stuff and have people flock to you. We have to be systematic and consistent and creative and solving problems in a way that people identify with, right? It's not about you. Like the program's never about you and all the magic that you just made. It's about them and the results they're getting.
Yeah. I love what you brought up, Emi, about it's not about you and it's about the problems that you solve for them. I know people hear that and I hear people say that, but sometimes I don't see them doing it so that's where it gets kind of like, okay, you just missed the biggest mark there. It's not about you. And, I even say that to myself all the time, even though, I never was egotistical, but I'm always saying to myself, okay, how can I help them? What's their problem? What's their problem? And I feel like if I keep saying that, then I'll keep on that right road with them instead of saying, well, buy my product because I know it's going to work. Not one well.
No, it's been really interesting for me because we just launched the Your Amazing Year Planner in a digital format. It's a quarterly planner designed for women entrepreneurs. And it's been something that I've been playing with and working with and evolving for the last couple of years as a way to connect the dots with all the other planners that I've used that have not worked for me between that quarterly plan and actually getting the stuff done on a daily basis. And I'm super excited about it. I love it. I think it's great. And none of that matters. So when we decided to do the promo and the launch for it, like my real true excitement is that people are actually buying it and I'm getting feedback with a couple of weeks in with something that's really more of a long-term benefit. They're like, oh my God, this totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm planning in a totally different way for next year, and I can already see how I'm using it differently, how I'm setting myself up for correct or better habits. I'm, doing these things and taking action consistently over the course of the last couple of weeks. And I'm thinking about things differently. So my goals are actually bigger than they would have been.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
So that's
Yeah.
what I care about, is getting that response,
Yeah.
and not that my planner is super cool to me.
I know, because
Right?
you want the impact that you're giving to others and getting that impact so that you move it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the whole purpose of doing this right now, was let's put it out there, see if anybody cares, and if it's helpful. And then let me take that information so that I can then reinvent it, rejigger it, whatever you want to say there, and then put it back out there again.
That's good. I like how you do that. That's kind of like that social listening type of thing where you're trying to see, okay, who's really, feeling this and getting a lot out of it. And then you can make, increase and put more to it. That's awesome. Right. That's awesome. Yeah. Wow. I got to get the journal. Now I got to, now I got to get that. See,
you do. That's an amazing year.
Yes, amazing. So Emi, I want to kind of get into some points that you're going to bring to us today. I know, and you kind of met just a tad of a little bit of the first one. You talking about the biggest mistakes business owners make, and we kind of talked a little bit about, you need to solve the problem that your client is looking for. So I want to kind of get your take on that part, that one key point, before we get to the other ones.
As far as solving the problems, I think it's listening, but it's also most business owners, even businesses that have bigger businesses, several million in revenue, don't revisit their client avatar or their ideal client often enough, and it changes, right? And maybe they're looking at demographics only, or they're still under the I can help anybody. And the more narrow that you are, and the more closely that you create this person, if you will, that you're speaking to, the more your messaging will connect, which means the more your sales will increase, particularly when you're speaking in a language that they're using and you're really connecting with the problems and the pain points that they have.
Yes, definitely. I love how you said to revisit your avatar and to basically make sure that you're on target on what you're trying to do. And, I think one thing, because I always talk, you said revisit. I always do. I'm doing a reassessment of auditing myself. Same thing. And I'm glad I do that, because I've noticed that something that I was doing maybe a year or 2 years ago has kind of changed a little bit. And I had to kind of tweak into different things. Yeah.
When you may have a new program, a new offering, a new something that the existing client avatar doesn't necessarily completely fit into, so you can expand that. Or maybe you want to work with a different type of person or whoever, allowing yourself to revisit and kind of go through that process enables you and empowers you to help serve those people at a bigger impact.
Yes, definitely. And I think that goes into your second key point that you mentioned, is how do you help your clients?
Yeah, because again, it's not about you. So
well, you said just in a nutshell, it's not about you now, it's about them. Because people, they can talk about, oh, you need to do this and that. But like you said, Emi, the biggest thing is just really looking at their needs and their wants of what they need from you.
Well, and as a coach, practicing non-attachment, right? Like you can't be attached to your stuff while you're coaching. You really have to let go of your filters, your belief systems, and be with that person. But you also can't buy into their limiting beliefs and some of the things that are, they're going to claim that they can or cannot do, so that you can be with them in a kind of a neutral place to help them move forward.
Yes, that was golden. You just did a mic drop on that one, because you're right. You did. It's just because when you say you can't get attached so much to your, just going into you and not to them. And because you're basically putting a boundary there and not really being able to fully help your client.
Yeah. I had in my high level program, I had half of my clients in November hit record months and all-time highs in their businesses. And yeah, did I play a part in that? Absolutely. But they're the ones that did the work. They're the ones that took the information and the gentle pushing and everything else and made the changes and did it not just 1 month, but this is like 6-7 months of work finally showing the reward.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm going to pin that for a minute because I got to tell you something that happened to me the other day. I was talking to another coach and you mentioned the word did the work. And I was talking to the coach and they were talking about dreams and how people have dreams and goals. And I said, that's wonderful. I have dreams and goals, but you have to put the work into it too. It goes hand in hand. It's just still going to be that dream. And they got on me and they said, Barbara, don't use the word work. Because when people hear work, they start to shut down because they say, work, what are you talking about, work? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, the right word, maybe, but all in all, put stuff to action, So I'm thinking to myself, why are we going around it? I mean, you do have to do like you just said. I mean, you have to put it in action.
Yeah. And I would love to come up with a different word other than work to describe the things, the action that we take as entrepreneurs that sometimes are hard, but we still love doing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but it's funny how they kind of pulled me to the side and said, don't use what some people don't like to hear work. And I'm like, well, when I hear work, I said, okay, this is me. I need to do work. I don't have a problem with the word work. But then, they kind of told me, you might have to do different ways, but this is probably wrong with me, but I said, that's kind of like sugarcoating. I don't know. That's just me. I'm just to the point of like, yeah, you want to do something like you said, you have a goal, Emi, you're helping them out. Now let me give you the tools. And then when you give them the tools that you give them, they need to follow suit in order to get it get it done and get it reality.
Yeah. And my foot's not coming off the gas just because they had great months either. Like we had our happy dance, we're celebrating, we're excited. And now it's like, all right, time to level up.
I love it.
Yeah,
see, that's why you be in sync. I love it. It's like, yeah. Okay, now let's keep going.
Yeah. Well, and it's for me, like we measure results every month, every call, and make those tweaks. So we're not done yet. Like we're talking 2023 end of year right now with where they're going, what they want to do, what marketing they're going to be changing, revenue goals, all of that stuff, so they can get there.
Yes.
Who do they have to be in their identity as the CEO to get to that next level?
Yes, definitely. And see, that's where I come right back around about understanding the coaches that you need in your life. Because like you said, that's the one that's going to tell you that you don't put the foot on, put on the brakes, but we're going to put on the gas. You're the one that's encouraging. You're the one that's throwing new tools at them. You're the one that and that's why that's so important, because if they even feel like, well, Emi, I don't know. No. Okay. What's the problem? Let's stop here. Let's see what's going on. Talk to me, so that's that coach really just rearing you up so you can just keep on pushing and going and reaching that goal that, that they want.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's never been a better time for women entrepreneurs to succeed than right now. Like the world is shifting epically slowly, but shifting. And and I think COVID really has pushed how we can do business in a more positive, more sustainable way. And one of the things I've loved on the podcast is being able to interview some of these female founders, particularly in tech companies, where they're starting to get more funding from VC capitalists. They're starting to really shift how they build their teams and the way they practice business, from motivation, from how they're working from this aspect of time and in community and with connection, how they're rewarding them, how they're paying them, etc. And it's so cool to get to be a part of that and meet these women who are really laying a groundwork for us to not be overworked not be overwhelmed, not be burned out. And as your last guest said, the mental health situation in the U.S. is we're in almost a crisis state, and it's because we're exhausted and we're not taking care of ourselves.
Yes, self-care is the key. And some people kind of use it as like just so they throw it out there, but no, I said it's really, you need to do it, period.
Yeah, I teach all my clients and anybody else I can touch and be with that self-care is more than just a massage or taking a nap or getting your nails done or whatever else you may think of it. It's a way of being that fills you up so that you can show up for your best or as your best in your business and be a model to your team members and your clients.
Yes.
So it's not just like, oh, I've got to stop and take time. It's really you redefining leadership in a completely different way. So the self-care is part of who you are as a way of operating.
So true. Another mic drop. I'm telling you, Emi, because I always tell myself, if I'm not being fulfilling for myself and taking care of myself, how am I going to help the women that I want to help too, like you're doing out there? And I'm just, needing that help myself.
Yeah. And I speak from experience. Like I burned myself out a couple of years ago and I took a month off, and I was doing yoga and meditating and sleeping enough and taking, time off and going on vacation and doing all the self-care things. And it wasn't enough.
It's enough. Wow.
And that time off gave me an enormous amount of perspective of what I had to change so that I wouldn't burn myself out again, because it's easy to just take some time off and then, all right, let me dive back into the routine. But I knew I had to do things differently and then really, get settled into the space of this is who I'm being and this is my new lifestyle. And I'm not going to play that game of the grind and the hustle mentality. All done.
Yeah, and you know what? That's good that you put that boundary up for yourself and say, you know what, Emi's gonna hold off for a second because I need to do this, and you didn't let other things still kind of come and say, well, wait a minute, you need to do that. You know how that goes. And it's like, nope, I'm not cutting for a month. I'm done for a minute. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the cool thing has been, as I'm practicing this, my clients are practicing this, I see other women starting to really appreciate and prioritize themselves. You end up having more fun in the work that you are doing, and you feel better. Like the long term, right? Like maybe that 1 week you don't get as much done as you would like, but the long term of that is that you're accomplishing greater things at a higher level.
Yes, definitely. Well, Emi, this has been wonderful. Like I said, it seemed like the time goes so quickly, especially when we're having really good conversations. I wanted to ask some more, but I'm going to welcome you back because I want to give you 30 seconds just to give your last thoughts. But I want to let you know that, you're always welcome on the Coaches Lounge, whatever you're doing, and just keep us informed, keep us motivated, and, come with other things that you're doing in your world as a world changer. But I want to give you 30 seconds to give the audience some other things that you might want to express, and then we're going to make sure they get your contact information. I'll be right back.
Okay, awesome. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this. It's been incredible to be able to hang with you and talk with Barbara. My name is Emi Kirschner. I'm the CEO of Empress Enterprises, and I would love to connect with you. Come check out my podcast. Currently, it is The Tribe of Leaders. As of January 1st, it's going to be renamed because I want to be able to bring more women's stories and more women CEOs and founders' stories to the forefront to help inspire you, to help see how we can do things differently. So look for it under Women Who Build Empires. And as always, play a bigger game. You've got this. Don't let the things that you feel like you might not know or that make you feel uncomfortable keep you playing small. Always reach out for help because you want to have a business and a life team that's supporting you in helping you get to those really big, amazing, incredible goals.
Amazing. And you're amazing too.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
Yeah, so thank you again. Please reach out to this wonderful coach, queen, just, extraordinary world change that she's doing for women. She's really helping empower them more and more. And that's what we need. We need to multiply Emmys. We need to multiply because we need people around us that's going to encourage us and really be real with you to get to that next level in your life and what you're trying to do. So again, Emi, you're always welcome. Please have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you. You too.
I'm just thinking like, okay, Barbara, remember it's right around the corner. So you have a wonderful holiday and see you soon. And again, if anybody is interested in coming on the Coaches Lounge with Barbara Beckley, please just messenger me, or you could just basically email me at the diamondfactorexperience@gmail.com and we will get you on the calendar. Thank you so much, Emi, again. You take care.
Bye.